Good morning and welcome. This morning, I will provide an update on the following topics. Consultation on the proposal for the introduction of parish primary schools. Public and parish consultation meetings, and the Ministry of Education's 2021 scholarships and awards. In mid-December, I gave an update on the status of Bermuda's education reform and announced the beginning of a consultative process of the parish primary school proposal. This proposal suggested the potential reduction of our current system of 18 primary schools to 10 primary schools, with 1 primary school per parish, with 2 in the parish of Pembroke. When I announced the consultation period for the proposal, the Ministry of Education is committed to run a fair, vibrant, transparent, and engaging consultation. Our commitment to Bermuda is clear, as we stated in the consultative document, and I quote, "Consultation is an important process because it gives all affected and interested persons and organizations the opportunity to learn and understand what the government is proposing, and the opportunity to share their views and feedback. In turn, the government and the Ministry of Education have a responsibility to listen and consider the views and feedback from the consultation as part of any decisions that are made. Together, the government, stakeholders, and the community can transform public education to better serve our children for generations to come." Our primary school proposal was accompanied by a very comprehensive parish primary school consultation document, an executive summary of that document, and a feedback form. We are pleased with the members of the public who have read these documents and submitted feedback via the feedback form. The public's comments are critically important to help us make the best decisions as we reform our education system to create a world-class education system here in Bermuda. While we encourage submitting responses using the official response form, there has been no shortage of discussions via social media, emails received, and comments to the local press. These forms of interaction are important as we have committed to and promised to have a robust and transparent consultation in all aspects of education reform. We recognize the suggestions that we reduce our current number of 18 schools to 10 schools will invoke certain emotions within our community. However, based on careful examination of the current data, discussions with our highly capable technical team, and input from our change management consultants, the current proposal creates an equitable system needed to ensure every student is given the opportunity to reach their highest potential. Based on some of the more vocal feedback received, and some recurring themes have arisen. These being the historical relevance of some of the schools proposed to be potentially closed. There have been questions around the potential closure of schools considered high performing and how they operate being retained. More puzzling was a recent interview by the media in which it was suggested that more consultation was needed. However, the proposed consultation started in December and will continue until April. Another recurring theme, most recently articulated in an email received on Monday, was a concern for increasing the number of students per class with fewer schools. However, the proposal indicated a maximum student-to-teacher ratio of 15:1 would be achieved with the proposal. Interestingly, most of the above issues raised, as well as others, have been covered in the consultative document that was issued when the consultation process started. However, as I stated, this is an open and transparent consultative process. We expected persons to submit information prior to reading the consultative document, but that's okay. This process requires demands the public input to help guide the critical and important decisions that need to be made. As I have stated on numerous occasions, and will repeat over and over, the proposal is just that, a proposal. We are committed to listening and using your feedback to guide the final decision. By example, already from the feedback, it is clear that a mechanism to record and preserve the historical legacy of all our primary schools is needed. As the youngest school in our system is 46 years old, there are long and storied histories attached to all of our primary schools that need to be preserved somehow, regardless of the final decision. To deliver the education system, our students deserve what's being designed through our Learning First program. We must create the facilities to deliver this 21st century education approach. We need facilities where every child's learning is designed around their strengths and interests and their social and emotional needs. Our proposal is designed to help us achieve that goal. However, no final decisions will be made without your input. Again, I repeat, no decisions have been made or will be made until the conclusion of the consultative process. Only after the completion of the consultation will a decision have been made about the parish school proposals. The consultation period is over a 3-month period, giving people time to consider and respond to the proposals. All responses will be considered and analyzed as part of the consultation and decision-making process. The ministry understands that not everyone will agree. That is precisely the reason why the consultation period is so important to us, so that we can gather perspectives centered on transforming public education for all students. Now I will discuss the public and parish meetings. Beginning next week, the ministry will host public and parish meetings to discuss a proposal for the introduction of parish primary schools. Due to COVID-19, the first of the public meetings will be held virtually via Zoom video conferencing platform on the following dates starting at 6 p.m. Tuesday, January 26th, Thursday, January 28th, and Monday, February 1st. To ensure wide access and participation, the public meetings on Thursday, January 28th, and Monday, February 1st will be also broadcast on CITV, YouTube, and Facebook Live. People watching at home will be able to call in or message their questions and feedback. These meetings are an important opportunity for the general public to learn more about the proposal for the introduction of parish primary schools and to share their views and ask questions. While the public meetings will be focused on the proposals more broadly, the ministry will also hold parish meetings for persons interested and who may be affected by the proposals for individual parishes. Those who wish to attend the parish meetings should include parents, staff, alumni, and other community members. There will be 2 meetings per parish that have more than one primary school. In addition to being hosted on Zoom, parish meetings will also be broadcast on CITV, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Zoom registration will be required for security reasons to safeguard meeting attendees from inappropriate content and disruptions. People are encouraged to register early and can do so up to 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting they wish to attend. The dates and times of the upcoming parish meetings are also listed on our website at www.moed.bm. The Ministry of Education understands that education reform is an issue of significant national importance, which is why we want public input and feedback over the next several weeks before determining the next steps forward. Now, I wish to give an update on the Ministry of Education scholarships and awards for 2021. Each year, the Ministry of Education provides scholarships and awards to Bermudian students to pursue higher education. In 2018, the government announced a new award, the Bermuda College Promise program for students graduating from our public high schools. To date, 70 students are registered and are benefiting from this initiative that provides free tuition to the Bermuda College for any public school, senior school graduate with a GPA of 3.0 or higher. Education is and will continue to be the top priority for this government. Our students and their ability to pursue post-secondary education is an integral part in the continued development and success of our island home. We recognize the importance of providing our people with opportunity and will make no apologies for doing so. Scholarships and awards that are on offer are the Bermuda Government Scholarship, the Teacher Education Award, the Non-Traditional Student Scholarship, the Minister's Achievement Award, the Minister's Exceptional Student Award, the Minister's Applied Science Award, the Minister's Technical and Vocational Award, and the Minister's Bermuda College Book Award, and the Further Education Awards. We will soon begin a marketing campaign to target all students, and I'm encouraging students to visit www.bermudascholarships.com to review the criteria for all awards and scholarships. I'm also urging more students to take advantage of the College Promise program. It is an excellent opportunity to begin your college career and have your fees for the first 2 years of that college career covered at the Bermuda College. These awards and scholarships demonstrate our commitment to Bermudian or overseas institutions. Before I take questions, I would like to show a 30-second social media ad featuring our 2020 Teacher Education Award recipient, Dante Roberts. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dante Roberts. I applied to the Ministry of Education Scholarship because after taking some time off, I felt it was time to start my education. I did that with people and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but then I saw the Ministry of Education Scholarship, and I was really excited to apply for it because this was a scholarship that was in my field. It's a Teacher Education Scholarship. I applied to it at bermudascholarships.com, and I definitely encourage you to apply to put yourself out there. You never know what will happen, and who knows?
Thank you. I will now take questions.
Mr. Thank you.
Good morning.
Just a few questions. You say that you've already had some feedback from the public through this feedback form. Could you say how much feedback you've had in terms of numbers, and also the nature of the feedback? Has it been generally positive or critical, or could you give me some more details on that?
We have received feedback through the official channels. As I noted in my statement, there has been unofficial feedback we've seen on social media, feedback we've had random letters sent, feedback for articles that have been in the newspaper and talked to certain persons. But in terms of the official feedback, I am not clear exactly how many. Back in December, about 2 weeks after we launched, I received a listing of it was just under 30 official, but that was when we first sent it out, and what we were doing is expecting a lot more. But from those ones that we did read, that I haven't looked at, and I haven't looked at any since, I would say the feedback has been about 50-50 for a person in support and persons not in support.
Would you be able to perhaps find out today how much more feedback you've had since you last checked?
This is something that will be part of the public. This consultation is a public consultation, and at the end of it, a public document will be produced that will be available. And so those types of statistics, while I don't want to preempt anything that the team is working on, those type of things will be active at that point.
I'm not asking you to preempt anything. I'm just asking you to give us an update as to where we are now.
And I'm saying that we've received quite a bit of feedback. That is just not something that we have the numbers to give you at this particular moment.
I think so. The last time you checked, you had 30.
That was the last time. That was the last time.
Okay.
What I can tell you is that the data shows that the documents have been accessed in excess of, I want to say around 300 times, and the feedback form has been accessed close to 200 times.
Right, okay. And you keep on saying how important this consultation is, and how it's, the whole process demands that you get public feedback. But you then also say, however, based on our careful examination of current data, discussions with our highly capable technical team, and input from our change management consultants, the current proposal creates the equitable system needed to ensure that every student is given the opportunity to reach their highest potential. That kind of sounds like you've made up your mind.
I would disagree with that.
Disagree with what?
That we've made up our mind. We've been very, very intentional in this consultative process, and the consultative process and the feedback that we receive will guide the final decision that is made.
So it's the feedback that'll guide the final decision.
It will help guide to the final decision. Yes.
So if you're saying, say, 60% of parents get back to you and say that we are absolutely opposed to this, we think it's absolutely abominable, will you scrap it?
The feedback that has to come has to also be the feedback has to make sense. We can have 60% of the people say we're absolutely against that without any credible rationale behind it. Should we still scrap it and move forward? I don't think so. This is the purpose of having meetings and talking with people, so we can get them to understand what we're trying to do, and we can also understand why they're saying what they're saying. And all of that data will be collated and put together, and a decision made based on what the feedback is and what the final decision should be. At the end of the day, what we're doing is creating a system that our children deserve, our children require, and our children need to have in order for us to move forward with a world-class education system in Bermuda.
Okay, let me give you one potential reason why people might object to it, parents might object to it. You stated a month ago, when you were giving reasons for this change, you stated that it's the leadership and attitude that exists that can make the difference between high or low performing schools. High performing schools are performing well because of their leadership. So what if 60% of people come back to you and say, look, rather than shut down half our primary schools, just make sure that they all have good leaders, good principals, good teachers? Wouldn't that be an easier way of doing it?
Well, I understand what the question you're trying to ask, Gareth, and what I would urge you to do is have a more holistic view at what education reform is. As I announced back in December, when I did make that statement as well, education reform is the Parish primary school proposal is only one part of education reform. We also have the opportunity that we're looking at the Education Authority, which would talk about exactly what you're talking about, the governance. We also have the Learning First initiative, which would talk about what is happening within the schools, what is the best way for us to skill up our teachers, the best way to skill up our principals, the best way to look at how our education is put forth. All of this has to be taken into account. The primary school proposal is only one part of a holistic reform that goes with education. So to continue to look at just this part and try and make decisions and try and make comments and ask questions that you're asking based on just this, it's just not doing our children the service that they deserve. And we have to look at this from a holistic point of view. And what we want to do is take our education system, create a 21st century learning education system. And that involves not just the closure of primary schools. That involves the changing of the way that we do teach, changing of the way that we do look at how education is delivered, looking at the governance that we have within our school system, and moving forward, and again adding the accountability within our system as well. So all of this comes into play. And in the document, I know it's 80 plus pages, and it might be a heavy lift for some people, but I do encourage people, if you cannot read this document, come to these sessions so we can actually talk about it, and you'll hear the proposal, because it doesn't just revolve around the closing of buildings.
Okay, Minister, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Thank you, World Gazette, Zebian, everything. All right. Minister, thank you. That concludes our press conference for today.
Problem.
Hi, my name is Dante Roberts. I applied to the Ministry of Education Scholarship because after taking some time off, I felt it was time to start my education. I did that with people and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but then I saw the Ministry of Education Scholarship, and I was really excited to apply for it because this was a scholarship that was in my field. It's a teacher education scholarship. I applied to it at bermudascholarships.com, and I definitely encourage